OK guys， 我现在在变色龙的摊位，就是 Chameleon 那个，你们看到就是会有，就是像酒精性颜料的东西，酒精性麦克笔的东西，然后但是它是双头的。那现在 Nick 要跟大家介绍一下这个笔到底怎么用，我知道很多朋友会很有兴趣。OK，Nick please.
Okay. This is the Chameleon Colour Tones pen. It's an alcohol-based marker. It comes in two parts, unlike others. So we have a brush nib on one end and a bullet nib on the other. Nibs are made in Japan. The ink is from the UK. And this is what makes it different. This is the mixing chamber. What we have in here is a clear alcohol solution. So what happens, you'll place this on top of either end of your pen, and the alcohol solution filters down and infuses the nib. And that's what allows you to get the lightest tone all the way through to the darkest tone. The longer you leave this on, the longer the blend you can get. So that's about a 5 to 10 second donation. So as I start colouring, you'll get the very lightest tone. And as you colour, it's going to get darker and darker and darker until you get back to the original base colour. And then what you'll see is that all 20 of our colours allow you to go from that light shade to the dark shade. And you're going to get approximately minimum 10 tones from each pen. So that allows you with a 20 pack to get over 200 different tones.
200. How can you do that?
Well, because what you're looking at is the 20 colours,
Yep.
and then each one you'll get around about 10 different tones.
Okay.
So from each one you're going to get about 200 different shades of those colours.
So can you mix two colors together?
Yes, you can, because they're alcohol based. They then can mix together, they'll be overlaid. So you can dull down, say, the yellow by using one of the skin tones. So you'll dull it down to quite a nice dull yellow. But what you'll see in here is our comparisons from what you can do with just two regular markers,
Yeah.
and then what you can do with two Chameleon markers. And then two regular markers, and then two Chameleon markers.
So how about if I like a yellowish green?
Okay.
Or greenish blue? Yeah.
What you'd do is
Okay,
just
I
like other markers, you'd lay the colour down, and then you would either blend over the top with the same colour, and you'll get like that colour gradation going and a slightly dulled down, because normally grey will dull things down. So if you've got like one of the vibrant blues, like a sky blue, you wanted to dull it down, if you just overlay the grey over the top, you'll get just like a more dull grey.
Can I touch blue and the grey together?
You can, well you could touch tip to tip, but it's the way we've done it is it's controlled by going nib to nib in the pen. You're not going to get an even blend if you do that, but we may or may not be doing a product along those lines in the future.
Oh, okay. So there is one clear pen in the package, right?
Yep, that's a blender pen like you'll get with your Copics. So it allows you to do all the techniques you already know with the Copic. So what that would do is allow you to move a little bit of ink off the paper. So if you want to do like any kind of texturing on something, or if you wanted to do, if you've gone over the line slightly, you can just push that little bit of ink back in. So if I show you.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is just pull the slightest bit of ink off. So, as you see, you can see the lines there which just made it that very little bit lighter, and if you want to do like a whole area, you can just really kind of pull the ink away in a lovely squeaky fashion to lighten that area compared to your other areas.
So it doesn't work like a blender, it's just like an eraser?
It will just slightly pull a bit of ink away. Like when you do with Copics, what you're doing is you're laying a dark colour down and then a slightly lighter shade next to it. So you want to try and push that dark shade slightly lighter, so you'd go over with a colourless blender. But with our pens you don't, because obviously the pen does that blend for you.
Okay. So how long does the pencil gonna last?
Well, you're looking about...
It's like a very big marker.
Well, what you've got is, you've got the marker side of it, and then you've got obviously the mixing chamber, but each side of it has as much ink as a regular marker in, so they're going to last about twice as long as regular markers. We had Kathy use hers pretty much every day for around 7 months before they started going dry.
Oh.
So, but we
Is
also
that
do,
refillable?
yeah, we do refills and we do replacement nibs, so it can last you forever if you look after it.
Oh, that's great.
Let's say, loads of other artwork. If you want to have a look. Like, we've got craft items from Some Odd Girl. It's great for. Should I go? Will I get it? Your manga images as well, as well as caricatures. That's me. That's my boss.
Okay. Well, thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much.